Right now in the Fox 61 Morning News at 6, people all across the country are feeling the ongoing pain at the pump. So we're going to have a closer look at how much you could be paying next time you head out to fill up. Good Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for starting your day off with us here at Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus, America Areas.
And I am Bridget Bureau. The first round of wet weather starts this morning, but it won't last all day. So, Matt, today is really tame compared to the later this week, right?
That's a good way of putting it, especially compared to tomorrow. This is kind of a little teaser, a little appetizer before we get the main rain, which comes in tomorrow. Part of a big low that's kind of just going to be slow moving in and out. But weather, Wednesday, something like that, taking over. Morning showers. That's it. They'll be out of the way by lunchtime, but the clouds will hang out, as will the cool temperatures. Got a bigger rain to talk about Thursday. We'll see if it lasts all the way into the weekend coming up. Here's your radar picture now in review. Last couple of hours, very light, very manageable rain. I'll switch over to the live Doppler just to show you just a pocket or two of maybe some steadier stuff approaching Ellington, Vernon, Rockville, right south of Summers, approaching Stafford. Off to the west, I mean, we're really nitpicking here. If a more steadier than the rest, brief showers approaching Litchfield right now. Most of the heavier energy, the most stronger stuff is off to the north. That's the way it will remain for now. Tomorrow we have a better chance at seeing some more potent stuff push through the state. 50 in Hartford, Chester, Groton, 52 in New Haven and Bridgeport with the clouds and numbers a little warmer than usual at the bus stop this hour. Winds are fairly light, 5 to 8 miles an hour. So a little bit of rain now. It's done by lunch. Temperatures, though, as they have been all work week, continue to struggle with temperatures only getting into the mid-60s. Bigger numbers in the 7-day. I think you're going to love when you see them. I'll show them to you coming up in about 13 minutes. Let's do traffic right now. What you got there?
All right, Matt, a couple of accidents to tell you about this morning. This one just came in out of Hartford. I-91 South is closed right now between exits 30 and 29A due to a crash. This was reported about 5 minutes ago. So if you're heading that way, you might want to take a different direction to avoid that. Another accident in Brantford. There's a dump truck crash on I-95 northbound. This one between exits 54 and 55. The right lane is closed. That was reported 30 minutes ago, so that is still active. Elsewhere in our state, traffic is looking good. Everything in the green here. Waterbury to New York is going to take you 43 minutes along 84. At 6:02 this morning, we have team coverage as prices continue to climb on just about everything nationwide. Fox 61 Aaron Coogan is in Hartford checking in on the gas prices.
And Fox 61 Stefan Reels is here in the studio with details on how local lawmakers are reacting to the ongoing increase. We are starting things off, though, with Aaron. Aaron's out there live. Aaron, how much is it going to cost for a gallon of regular where you are right now?
Yeah, well, guys, here at this Noble gas station here in Hartford, prices are sitting at $4.57 if you're paying cash, $4.63 if you're paying with card. That's just a little bit higher than the state average today, which reached $4.61 a gallon. And while we keep watching that number climb, unfortunately for our wallets, it's not just the fuel prices going up, as you mentioned, it's just about everything. According to the latest inflation report from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, for the first time in 3 years, Americans' wages are no longer outpacing inflation. So what does that mean exactly? Well, while the value of goods and services continues to increase, how much you're getting paid remains the same. Just last month, inflation rose to an annual rate of 3.8%. That's the highest we've seen since May of 2023. And yes, immediate spikes like gas prices can, at least in part, be attributed to the ongoing war in Iran. But economy experts say the full extent of that bottleneck effect overseas is far from reaching its peak here domestically. And it is a concern that we're watching, as in just the past 4 weeks, separating March and April, the price of gas increased 5.4%, airfare 2.8%, and groceries 0.7%. In a brief media appearance, President Donald Trump assured the temporary surge in inflation is a small price to pay for national security.
The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
Meanwhile, as the war in Iran continues, economists say the prices that we are seeing in the stores, at the pump, could continue to increase as the impacts from overseas could last 3 to 6 months after any event over there. Of course, we're going to be watching those prices and bringing them to you on air and online at fox61.com. Guys?
All right, Aaron, thanks. And we continue our team coverage this morning with Fox 61's Stefan Rios. He joins us live in studio this morning. And Stefan, state leaders in Connecticut have been very vocal about these numbers because people are really struggling right now with everyday costs.
Yeah, everyone has seen it, like Aaron said, from food to travel. A lot has been impacted by this. Now, several key Democrats have argued that this goes against the promises President Donald Trump made on his campaign trail coming into this term. And a big argument on their part has been just how this is now the highest we've seen inflation since 2023, where we came off some of the highest inflation rates ever. Starting off, Representative John Larson here posted this to X, where he said Americans need relief, and this has gone against President Trump's promises of lower prices. Moving on, Representative Rosa DeLauro, another lawmaker reacting to the news, who posted this on X, saying in part, quote, instead of lowering costs, he set sky-high tariffs and launched a war with Iran. Hardworking families are paying the price, end quote. And on top of that interview Aaron had mentioned earlier with President Donald Trump, Senator Chris Murphy criticized the president, quoting this clip from an earlier report. The reporter asked him how much Americans' financial situation was motivating him to make a deal with Iran. The president said not at all. And Senator Chris Murphy said, quote, this is how an out-of-touch billionaire president thinks, end quote. Senator Richard Blumenthal right here also reacted to that same interview, saying you're paying more at the pump and prices are skyrocketing. Trump couldn't care less. This built on top of his criticisms from earlier this week.
Everyday prices for everything are affected by the rising costs of fuel, whether it's diesel that's required to transport food and other goods and services, or everyday gasoline prices here at the pump. American families are going to be traveling less. They're going to be unable to spend what they are now.
But a big thing we're looking ahead to now that may impact the prices is the president's visit to China, where, according to the Associated Press, eyes are on a potential trade deal and developments in the Middle East to get Chinese leader to pressure Iranian leaders to open up the Strait of Hormuz, where a lot of the world's oil travels through. That's about a quarter of the oil. If that opens up, relief at the pump could soon follow. In the studio, Stefan Rios.
All right, Stefan, thanks so much. Well, we are following developments out of Avon, where multiple civil lawsuits have now been filed against a daycare after the arrest of a former employee. Attorneys say at least 2 new lawsuits were filed this week against Right Path, alleging several children were sexually abused while in the facility's care. The lawsuits claim the daycare failed to properly supervise, screen, and respond to warning signs involving the employee. The former employee, Jan Carlos Barrios Otero, was arrested in April. He's already facing charges involving multiple victims. Attorneys say the legal action is part of a broader effort to uncover how this happened and also whether more children may have been impacted.
The mother of the man convicted of killing a 7-month-old son in 2015 took the stand this week during a DCF civil trial.
And the outcome of this trial will determine if DCF was liable in their handling of the case of Aiden Moreno before his death. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is outside of Waterbury Court and has more.
Aiden Moreno's grandmother, Denise, testified that she never had any concerns about the child's father hurting Aiden or his mother.
Utter shock. It took forever to believe it.
Denise Moreno got emotional on the stand as she recounted the night her grandson Aiden died in her son's suicide attempt. She says she was never aware of abuse allegations between Aiden's mother, Adrienne Oyola, and her son, Tony.
Had you ever heard Miss Oyola say that she was scared for her safety because of your son?
No.
Did you ever hear her say that she was scared for Aiden's safety because of your son?
No.
When questioned by Oyola's attorney, she acknowledged that she wasn't present for every conversation the former couple had. She also maintains that Aiden's death was accidental. Dr. Victoria Kelly, a child welfare expert, also took the stand. She testified that there were no grounds for DCF to invoke a 96-hour hold of the 7-month-old.
I don't believe that imminence
the criteria for imminence was reached.
Kelly testified that at the time of DCF's investigation, there was no new evidence presented that the abuse was escalating. A temporary restraining order against Tony Moreno was revoked by a judge on June 29th. Dr. Kelly said the judge vacating the restraining order weighed heavily on DCF's risk and safety assessment for Aiden.
And that judge vacated the order, finding that there was no continued threat of harm.
Just days after a judge overturned that restraining order, a police report says Tony Moreno threw Aiden off the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown on July 5th. When questioned by Oyola's attorney, Kelly said that DCF was aware of the previous threats and concerning behavior by Moreno towards the mother and child, as well as his criminal history.
Didn't it have that duty to assess the safety and well-being of Aiden in conjunction with Mr. Moreno?
Yes.
Did that happen?
It had not happened at the time of the child's death, no.
Kelly went on to say that there was no way DCF could have predicted that the child's father would kill him. In Waterbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Yesterday, state police confirmed the name of a 28-year-old man shot and killed in Willimantic over the weekend. They say Jamez Yaruz died at the scene after being shot early Saturday morning at a bakery on Main Street. Police have not released any information about who shot him or what led up to the shooting.
6:11 now, and Meriden police say someone shot a man yesterday on State Street. It happened just before 4:30 in the afternoon. The man was taken to the hospital but is expected to survive, and police are asking anyone with information to give them a call as soon as possible.
Still to come here on Fox 61 for you this morning, support is on the way for state dairy farms. More on the financial pressure those farmers have been dealing with and how they could be getting some relief.
Also this morning, a new Asian food market has opened. We'll take a look at some of the fresh items that are stocked on their store shelves.